Understanding the psychology of money is vital. What do you see when you read this comment? How are you looking at this passage? The importance of this is because, from a school perspective, the above comment is typical, well written, confusing, and of little value. Well, little value as it applies to real world. It's valuable as it applies to a school assignment. A school assignment. You have to go through the criteria. In real life, do you remember the last video I showed you where basically 5% is equal to 6.5%? 5% is equal on average? Wow. Yes, I'm using the word average, but we're talking about, and so psychology is very important and is a part of money. From a real life situation, this comment is fantastic. It's the essence of financial independence and financial literacy. It talks about everything, so to speak. Same as the last one with the annuity, as I showed you. Again, if you go back to one of the earlier videos, percentage is so important. It's more than just budgeting, more than just investing. If you think about investing and budgeting and you forget about or remove interest or don't understand interest, if you don't understand the interest, you lose out. Like I said, the last video, basically 5 and 7 on average. This is talking about average, 50%, 25% average. Wow. This is a very good comment as it applies to real life situations. And that's what we need to keep in mind. We know the purpose of school is to create employees for the workforce. Is that what you want to be as an employee, or do you want to be financially independent? It's not going to happen overnight. And working does not equate or create financial independence without going the step further. What is the most important benefit of financial literacy? You're about to find out. There are two main points in this comment, but many topics. That is how good this comment is. I was happy to get it. And I can spend, like I told you in another video, it's at least a week's worth of a conversation, 5 hours of conversation. That is how much detail is associated with this one comment. It appears to prove Dave wrong, but that doesn't help anyone. You see, as I told you in the last video, or the video in referencing the truth about annuities, all stories have two sides to the coin, two sides to a story, two answers. We think 1 + 1 = 2, but this is not always equal. It doesn't always equal 2. 1 + 1 does not always equal 2. As far as I'm concerned, the purpose of the comment was to educate the world. It was not to prove Dave wrong. Could have been his intent, but my thoughts, it's to educate the world. Many topics. Remember, many topics. One comment, many discussions. My goal is to get the teaching of financial education in schools from 1st all the way through 12th grade. Every day, just like math, just like English, French, as a normal course. This comment helps immensely. Ask your teacher if she understands it. Ask your math teacher, ask your English teacher if they understand it. Bring it in and show them. If you're in college, ask them, see what they tell you. That'll help you out in the real world when you actually start working. So that's what I would suggest. Bring it to your financial advisor, your financial planner, and see what they say. It's a very good comment as it applies to real life. I'm not a fan of schools. It didn't stimulate my mind. Financial literacy indirectly leads to financial independence. Because its most important aspect is it teaches you critical thinking. Critical thinking. That's what companies want to produce the products that they're manufacturing. They don't want to pay for it, but they do want the critical thinking. Are you ready to learn one main point of this comment? Take a deep breath. Relax. Viewing it in its entirety blinds you from seeing the true value. Remember what your mom used to say? Take small bites. You have too much food in your mouth. Small bites. That's what this comment does. Let's take it in chunks, smaller bites. Today, we're only going to focus on the first half. Yes, the Standard & Poor's has an average return of over 12%, as Dave stated. So he's saying that he's right, which is good. But that doesn't take into account compounding effect. Let's say you have an index value of $100. Very good number. Absolutely great. He's choosing a number, realistic, number low, something that we can all relate to. Again, education. Fantastic comment. Let's say that it loses 50%. Simple math. I've always said simple math. Peter Lynch talks about fourth grade math. Half of 100 is 50. Great. Even puts it in here for simplicity. In the second year, it gains 100%. So you double your money from 50 to doubling it is 100. That brings you back to where you were. Now think about it. He said you lose 50, but you have to go up twice as much. So if you look at it and you average the two, 50 down, 50 up, you're going to find out that you get a 25% average annual return. Good. 25% average annual return. This part here, I'm not so happy with 23 on the simple math, yes. But we have to go into things deeper now. This is 5th grade math, but it's not financial math. It's math in school, but not financial math. Although it is used in the financial world as a sales pitch. In other words, a poor analogy with high psychological implications. Investing is not a 2-year plan. Investing is not a 2-year plan. That's the reason why it's a poor analogy. If you're investing for 2 years, do not put it in the stock market. Everyone will tell you that. You might get lucky, but the risk is way too significant. Great. You never ever put it in for 2 years. That's trading. That's not investing. However, it does highlight every facet of investing. It definitely proves Warren Buffett's point of not considering owning a stock for less than 10 years. Furthermore, it lessens the validity of the 1% concept, the 1% fee concept. It lessens that, costing you an enormous amount of money because you made 23%. Who cares about the 1%, so to speak? It supports Peter Lynch's expression of the stomach being your most important organ. It raises the question of the 4% withdrawal rate. You could take out 23%. It raises that. It shows you can't time the market. It demonstrates the volatility, 50% down, 100%, the volatility of the stock market. It gives you the allure of gambling every facet of financial education, investing. Do you want to learn more about money? To become financially literate, educated? To be able to analyze presentations such as this with a thoughtful eye? Of course. Another option is to have someone use psychology on you so that you can't manage your own money and that you need the help of someone else. Is that what you want? Again, think about your parents. Reverse psychology. They use it all the time on us. Reverse psychology. The other option, as I said in the annuity one, is to rely on hope. Hope. You are investing your money wisely, which, if you are investing 15% into your company 401k or retirement plan, your company-sponsored one, you're already falling into the trap. People disagree with what I just said, and I understand why. Understand power. Knowledge is power. Power is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Understanding is more powerful than just knowledge, because you have to understand why they're saying it, and then you can determine if it's the best. And typically, the answer is no, it's not the best to put 15% into a company-sponsored retirement plan. Before I end, let's look at an analogy and psychology of money through gaming tactics, gamification. Focus on the numbers of these figures. Do not think of this as a stock, mutual fund, or index fund. Think of it as a picture is worth 1,000 words. Do you remember the games or challenges that you had when you were younger? Finding the differences in these two pictures? Look at the differences. Well, that's what we're looking for, but only in terms of figures. In this exercise right now, we're only focusing on comparing the differences of similar items. Let's simplify the picture. First thing you probably notice is a huge difference in the 5-year return values. After this, you can see the numbers change. But do you realize the most significant point? Look at the date. A one-day change of 13% significantly affects the returns. I got lucky when I found this, lucky that it actually happened. And it's to prove a point. If you want to think about it, this is one day. It coincides with the comment of 25% in, say, a 2-year period on an average return. It's a trap that we can fall into. Do you want to become financially literate, which will help you become financially independent? Do you want to make money while you sleep?